Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Bobby, aka Paginator, and I'm here today with my October TBR. Um, September did not go so well TBR wise. We'll talk about that more in my reading wrap up. But I'm excited for October. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different in the interest of accommodating my very, very, very busy life right now, between school that I teach, school that I'm taking, writing a book, football, photography, like almost every weekend. There's just not as much time for reading as I would like. And when I do have time to sit down, sometimes I just am feeling kind of like not into it. So we are going to be doing something, as I said, a little different. I'm going to be using the Fairy Loot TBR game that was sent in a recent box. I think it was 2 or 3 months ago. And they sent some slips of paper that have a place for 20 titles. And I've written down the titles of books that I really in this moment are really interested in reading. And then we have the 20-sided die in this cute little pouch, and we're going to roll it 5 times to pick 5 books for me to read in October. However, I am going to say this. October is my birthday month, and I might be doing some book shopping, and if I come across a new book that I'd rather read other than the 5 that get chosen today, I'm going to let myself do that, because that's kind of the weird headspace I'm in right now. So, without any further ado, we'll get on to roll number 1. I'm not going to zoom in on the rolls for you, just because I don't have the time and energy to reset my camera every time. We're not going to do that, so you're going to have to trust me. Okay. Roll number 1. 13. And that is Mask of Shadows. Alright, so this book is by Lindsay Miller, and it came to me in a BookBox Club. I have since unsubscribed from BookBox Club because it wasn't their fault. It was totally FedEx's fault, but FedEx just didn't deliver 2 months in a row. Don't know what happened to the packages. So I thought, why am I going to pay for this if I'm not going to get it? So again, not BookBox's Club's fault, but this is going to be my last shipment from them. So they sent this and the sequel, which is Ruin of Stars, which is, I think it's just a duology. But this is about Salot, S-A-L-L-O-T. Salot Leon is a thief and a good one at that, but Sal wants nothing more than to escape the drudgery of life as a highway robber and get closer to the upper class, especially the nobles who destroyed their home. When Sal steals a flyer for an audition to become a member of the Left Hand, the Queen's personal assassins, named after the ring she wears, Sal jumps at the chance to infiltrate the court and get revenge. But the audition is a fight to the death filled with clever circus acrobats, lethal apothecaries, and vicious ex-soldiers. A childhood as a common criminal hardly prepared Sal for the trials, and as Sal succeeds in the competition and wins the heart of Elise, an intriguing scribe at court, they start to dream of a new life and a different future, but one that Sal can only have if they survive. So we're using they, them pronouns about Sal, which makes me think gender fluid and non-binary character, which is really cool. And it just sounds like an intriguing premise. Plus floppy paperback. I love it. Brief side note, yes, I did get my hair cut today. I'm looking very shaved. I have to get it cut close on the sides because my hair grows so fast that within a couple weeks it'll be out of control again. Alright, roll number 2. Number 20. And so that gives us The Missing of Claire de Lune. So this was a book I was supposed to read in September and obviously didn't get to. This is the book 2 in the Mirror Visitor series. In book 1, it introduces us to a world where things have there's a lot of chaos. Ophelia, our main character, goes to a new place, and she's supposed to find her place at this royal court, and there's a lot of intrigue, and there's some magical elements, and there's a guy, because there's always a guy, and in the second book, all I can really tell you is that the character is going to continue at the court. She's kind of thrust into the spotlight as, what did it say? She became the vice storyteller, and the guy, Thorn, is still there. He's technically her fiance, although they don't really know each other. It was one of those arranged kind of situations. So I really, really love the first one, and I'm excited to get back into this one. We are on a roll with the paperbacks. This one not so floppy, but still. I love a good paperback. Oh, and if you're wondering, the reason I didn't read the back is because I didn't want to accidentally spoil some things for the first book if you haven't read that series but are interested. So if you want to know more about it, I would say get on Goodreads or Amazon or somewhere that you find book like synopses and stuff, and it'll tell you more. Okay, now we're going to do roll number 3. 7. That gives us A Season of Sinister Darkness. So you might remember this from my recent book haul. I picked this up at the King's English store in Salt Lake. It's by Tracy Banghart, who wrote Grace and Fury, and this is a feminist courtly fantasy. It says, Annalise is cousin to the prince and possesses a magic so powerful it takes all her strength to restrain it. Everett is a country girl and has watched each friend and family member come into their magic while hers remains dormant. But everything changes when Annalise loses control, just as Everett begins experiencing the debilitating visions of a once-in-generation clairvoyant meant to serve the crown. Thrown together at court, Everett and Annalise find that they have the same goal, to protect their kingdom from the selfish, greedy men destroying it, but neither is quick to trust. Everett's visions suggest a threat to the throne, and Annalise worries that her darkest secrets will be revealed. Their magic at odds, the young women circle each other until the truth can no longer be hidden. Color me intrigued. If you were wondering, yes, I'm filming in a different spot. This is my Harry Potter shelf that's behind me. I just kind of felt in the mood to film from here. Roll number 4. 12. That is The Other Side of the Sky. So this is by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. They are kind of like author besties, and I heard them talking about this book on Marissa Meyer's Happy Writer podcast, and it sounded really intriguing. Prince North's home is in the sky in a gleaming city held aloft by intricate engines powered by technology. But North believes his sky island is sinking, its engines are failing, and the key to saving his home is to venture to the place the engines were first created. Nim is the living goddess of her people on the surface, responsible for providing answers, direction, hope. But in the midst of the surface's worst crisis yet, a mist that spreads madness and poison, doubts have arisen among the people about Nim's divinity. She must find a way to manifest her power before she's overthrown and all is lost. North's and Nim's lives are entwined, though their hearts can never be. Linked by a terrifying prophecy caught between duty and fate, they must choose to either save their people or succumb to the bond that is forbidden to them. In the podcast interview, they spoke about how these two characters literally cannot touch each other, but they have such a strong yearning for each other, and that just made me really intrigued to see how the authors did that and how they set that up and what is going to happen. Like, are they going to be able to touch each other? Are they not? Are they going to find a way around the rules? Like, what's going to happen? That's very, very intriguing to me. All right, last roll. All right, it was a 12 and we've already rolled 12, so we're going to roll again. 15. Small Favors. Small Favors is by Erin A. Craig, and it says, Ellery Downing is waiting for something to happen. Life in isolated Amity Falls, surrounded by an impenetrable forest, has a predictable sameness. Her days are filled with tending to her family's beehives, chasing after her sisters, and dreaming of bigger things while her twin Samuel is free to roam as he wishes. Early settlers fought off monstrous creatures in the woods, and whispers that the creatures still exist keep the Downings and their neighbors from venturing too far. When some townsfolk go missing on a trip to fetch supplies, a heavy unease settles over the falls. Strange activities begin to plague the town, and as the seasons change, it's clear that something is terribly wrong. The creatures are real, and they're offering to fulfill the residents' deepest desires, however grand, for just a small favor. These seemingly trifling demands, however, hide sinister intentions. Soon, Ellery finds herself in a race against time to stop Amity Falls, her family, and the boy she loves from going up in flames. Another one that just is catching my fancy right now. So that'll be our 5 books for October, or my 5 books for October. We'll hold up the stack for you here. There are enough like chunky books that I feel like this will give me plenty to read, but it's also not scary. My battery died just as I was about to sign off and say goodbye. Isn't that always what happens? Anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. Let me know what you're planning on reading in the month of October or how your September reading went. And I'm going to sign off and wish you a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.